And so, all right, here we go. 7 o'clock, the Protoss player from KAIST. At 1 o'clock, we have the MIT player, Zerg, Caelestis. For those of you just tuning in, MIT is ahead 3-2 right now. Caelestis just won his game against the Protoss player who went 7-gate all in. And it looks like the Protoss is going to be going for a fast expansion. Very, very standard opening on this map. Easy to wall, easy to take the net. Caelestis doing the overlord trick. And I think he's scared of the 1-gate opening like last time. Well, not like last time, but like the last player, he opened 4-gate in his first 2 games, and that's how he won against the first 2 MIT players. And I think because of that, he's scouting a little bit early, and you know, this is a very safe strategy by Caelestis. Typically, you don't want to scout so early, especially on this map where it's almost granted that your opponent's going to do a fast expansion. And we see a proxy hatchery from Caelestis. And so this is going to prevent the Protoss from getting a fast expo too fast. But of course, it's also going to prevent the Zerg player from getting his expo. So we're going to see how this plays out. You know, one thing that Caelestis definitely has to watch out for is a proxy pylon at his net. Because of his late pull, he could easily be walled off here and be unable to place his hatchery. But what I think he's going to do is cancel this at the last second, maybe turn it into an evolution chamber, delay his expo a little bit more. Now the economics of this is not clear per se. He's denying the expo, but he's also, you know, 300 minerals that he could have used much earlier. And as you can see, his spawning pool only just finished. So at the end of this exchange, who's going to be ahead? I'm not entirely sure. Oh, he could have moved that drone in and gotten some scouting information. And so from the Zerg's point of view, it's basically just like, it's as if the Protoss simply did a Gateway Forge Expo. And he has to play accordingly. Would I prefer a Gateway Forge Expo versus a straight-up Nexus? Well, I guess I'm not too sure about that. His nat has definitely been delayed a lot too. I like the timing of the third here. Looks like he... Oh boy, he needs to scout for this probe. This could be a big mistake. Oh boy, he needs to check for this. He's gonna lose all of his early game, like meta game, if he doesn't see this pylon. I think he's coming back to scout it. This is gonna be a very important moment for the Zerg player. And he sees it. Alright, there we go. You know, if he were really, really tricky, he could have let that finish maybe, you know, estimated the time at which it could possibly finish, and then start attacking like a cannon that's like quarter way done. That would have been really, really slick. Get the Protoss to waste money on cannons and pylons. But of course that's super risky. So a good scouting by the Overlord. He sees the Cybernetics core. He sees the second gas, which is slightly late. But he knows at this point that he can't have too many stalkers or sentries, so he's going to just kind of walk in here and see everything he's doing. I like that decision here. Usually you don't scout into the Protoss base so early into his expo, because it's really more or less clear what he's going to do. I mean, he's just built a NAT expo. What could he have at his home? But good, solid scouting information. Good to be safe. I think he believes that he's slightly ahead right now, and which I think he is. Passing the 7-minute mark, 29 drones to 31. And we see a 5-gate opening. Now this doesn't necessarily, okay, 6-gate. Now this doesn't necessarily mean a sort of all-in unless it becomes a 7 Okay, there we go. And it looks like Caelestis is going to be having to defend yet another 7-gate push. He got his gas a little bit earlier than last time. I can see that he has 200 on his main. He's mainly building drones, which is good. This is the only chance he's going to get to build drones, so he might as well do it now when he has the chance, because once the Protoss starts pumping out units from 7 gates, he's going to have to build all roaches. And this map is big. I wouldn't expect him to find these pylons here, so you gotta just assume that there's gotta be pylons around somewhere. The question is he aware of this possibility? Now, his roach warren is a little bit late. I think he underestimated how ahead he overestimated how ahead he was after that encounter. This is just like the last game, except he is not nearly as ready. I think his sense of timing is a little bit off. He's not building any spine crawlers, which he did last game. And the Protoss player is just chronoing out army units. The Zerg player now sees it with his tower. He has to prepare for this right now. If he doesn't do something right now, he's going to be behind. He's building spore crawlers, which I think he thought that he was going to go do some air cheese. And I think he's way off the mark in terms of what he thought the Protoss was going to do. This is a very bad situation for the Zerg player. At this point, I would sack whatever base is vulnerable. I would sack this Snat. A terrible thing to do, but what else can you do at this situation? The all-Zergling army is definitely not helping here. The sentries and the zealots are going to eat him up. Yeah, this is a very tough situation for the Zerg player. His roach, I think he just misread the Protoss player, building spore crawlers in defense of void rays. Yeah, he has a lot of Zerglings, but they're not going to be able to do anything. And the Protoss player is making the smart move, making only zealots against the all Zergling army. And yeah, it's never a good thing when you have to bring your drones out against the zealots. Drones do not counter zealots unless you have 1,000 drones, and you never have 1,000 drones. He's got some roaches out, but this is basically over right now. Even if he blocks this, the economic difference is just too big. And that cute little burrow, that's going to help him stay in the game. Maybe with insane roach micro, he might be able to salvage his base. The Protoss player he actually is not making any probes. He's just committed to this push, which I think is the right decision. He definitely has enough of an advantage. Good micro, just pumping out units, keeping his resources low. Yeah, this is a decent player right here. You can see the awkward spore crawler here being no use at all. And he actually blocked it. He actually blocked that push, but this is definitely an uphill battle for him. I don't know what he can do to get back in this game right now. Down 19 drones to 43. The Protoss could simply just mass stalkers and you could probably win it. I think everything was going well for the Zerg player, except his timing was just a little bit too late. If all the buildings he built if the Roach Warren were built maybe a minute or a minute and a half earlier, I think he would have been fine. I think he just missed his timing because of the early hatchery placement he chose to do. And often that's the tricky thing with kind of unorthodox builds. It might put you in the advantage, but you just don't know how to take advantage of it. And your sense of timing is off. And as a result, you end up basically shooting yourself in the foot. Let's see. The Zerg player, I guess he could do a surprise mutatech switch. Infestors, Infesterling. But it's difficult because he just doesn't have the economy. By the time he gets any sort of push out. You know, the Protoss will have maybe a third base, blank stalkers. It's building a Immortal right now. I'm actually surprised that he didn't upgrade his +1 earlier. Typically 7-gate Protoss players have the +1 upgraded before the attack. Not too big of a deal, just somewhat unusual. But as you can see, the Zerg player can barely use his larva at this point. He needs to take his nat again. He needs to do something risky to get back into this game. If he just plays standard, he's not going to be able to catch up. You know, at this point, I might just take this nat, this base, maybe 3 bases at once and see what I can do. You know, or you know, just rely on a counter game. He should definitely not attack that army head on. I mean, he probably knows this too. His army is gonna be way weaker than the other guy's army. You know, I think he should gear up for a counter game. I don't think he sees this army coming. He might get caught here. This is a very dangerous situation. He needs to run his drones back into his main, rally up his roaches, go all the way around and counter his main. If he attacks him head on, he is not going to be able to win. I like the Zealot play here, kind of poking in to see what, you know, kill some drones maybe, divert his attention. But it's really not necessary at this point. The Protoss player can just attack move his army into the roaches here. You know, and I think he got a good placement there, you know. The roaches got past the force fields. I like the placement of the roaches, but I mean, the Protoss just has too many units. Not even thinking about an expo. This is yeah. I think this is the right play on his part. Why let the game go an extra 5 minutes when it doesn't have to? And there's the GG.